Hello and welcome to Picture Astrology. In this video we will talk about one of the most lesser known form or lesser known aspect of astrology, which is in today's world also called as Esoteric Astrology. We will see what this term could mean in relation to Vedic astrology, and more specifically we will also see some of the secret meanings which are associated with planets or grahas in esoteric astrology, and I am very sure that the correlation which I will explain is not available in the video form. At least I have not seen it anywhere. So first of all, let's spend a brief moment about the meaning of esoteric astrology. What really this means. Now, if you look at the definition or try to search on Google, you might find something like this is astrology related to your soul. All soul astrology is probably the most common word currently used to describe esoteric astrology. But when you look at it in the Vedic astrology aspect and combine with Vedic or yogic sciences knowledge, then this esoteric astrology terms actually becomes very broad. And in a nutshell, we can say that it is the application of astrology to understand everything which is non-physical about human life. And even saying non-physical is not the best of the definition, and I'll explain why. So if you broadly see, in the Indian Vedic knowledge stream, human life or human body is said to be consistent of various layers. The most obvious is our physical body, the human body, the flesh and bone structure which we have, and anything which can be perceived by this human body or through five senses is, at least in this video, let's just call the physical aspect of life. So whether when you will get married, how many kids you will have, how much money you will earn, how much successful you will be in life, all those questions which can be answered by Vedic astrology, we can say that it is the physical part of the astrology. But there are other aspects of human life. For example, we have an energy body which is in Vedic sciences known as Pranic Body or the basic energy structure. And this is the energy structure which is supposed to remain intact from one body to another, meaning from your one life to another. Your bodies may change, but the pranic structure carries forward. Similarly, there is a manomay kosh. Since there is not a good word for it, let's just say it is all your memories, all your mental body, or all the memories of maybe millions and millions of years or millions and millions of lives which you might have had. So all those accumulation of memories is in the mental body, which is called as manomay kosh. Now, this pranic body also has various parts. We have different kind of pranas or basic energy. There are energy channels which are called nadis. These prana and nadis, they interact with each other in what we normally call as some kind of energy wheels or chakras, various chakras which are present in the energy body. And how various aspects of yoga, there are like 8 aspects of yoga: yam, niyam, asanas which is physical exercise, pranayam which is breathing exercise, pratyahar which is currently taken as synonymous meditation but in essence is quite different, then dharana, and then comes the dhyan and samadhi and all other aspects of the different stages of yoga. So all these things, how are the 9 grahas or 9 planets in Vedic astrology, 12 houses and 12 signs, how do they represent all these non-physical or entities which are not perceived through normal senses? The study of all that and how does an astrological chart relates to this is esoteric astrology. So with this brief introduction, I will now move on to see, as I said in the beginning of the video, how does the 9 grahas, how do they relate primarily with, for today, our energy body? And learning astrology in this manner can open up a lot of subtle understanding, like many things can be explained as to why sun and moon are never retrograde. I am not talking about from the physical point of view. Physically or mathematically we may know that sun and moon, why they are never retrograde, but from the esoteric astrology point of view, a very new understanding actually comes about. Many new things, like the order of signs, the 12 signs, which starts from Aries to Pisces, why that order is that way, why the Saturn signs are placed together. Many interesting things can become very clear, which we will see in future videos. But today let's see the meaning of the 9 planets. So let's go to the very basic. At the very beginning of the world, as per yogic sciences, the 2 most essential elements were space and energy. Now they are known as, in Vedic terminology, space is called as Akasha and energy is Pran, or in this reference it will be called as Mahaprana, which means the most fundamental universal energy. So the actual Vedic terminology is Akash and Mahapran, but we will just use space and energy in this video. Now let's see. In our solar system, we have a sense of space, or we are able to experience the space as we currently do, primarily because sun is at the center of our solar system. So we have sun, which kind of keeps all other planets, including Earth, rotating in its orbit, primarily because of the gravitational pull imparted by sun. So it is very easy to see that our sense of space basically comes from sun. Now yogic sciences also say that moon, which is a small satellite of Earth, as far as at least the modern sciences go, is also equally important in providing that space stability to life as we know. Now at least if you just look at the current modern science, it has been established that Earth, which kind of rotates on a particular axis, it rotates on an axis which is tilted at approximately, I think, around 23.4 or 5 degrees, and on this axis Earth rotates from west to east, and that's why we see sun rising from east. And on the same axis there is a wobbly movement, like this axis kind of rotates in a circle like a ball which wobbles, but Earth basically remains kind of hinged on this axis while rotating from west to east, and that rotation is what basically makes life possible. Now the modern sciences have established that Earth remains stationary, at least on this axis, partially because of moon's attraction. If moon was not present, Earth, instead of just rotating from west to east, it could have rotated south to north or north to south, or any non-regular direction as well. And we know that if that happened, the life as we know on Earth would not have been possible again. Although yogic sciences says that sun and moon actually, not just the rotation, moon is equally essential for keeping Earth in its current trajectory as we know of. So basically it is clear that sun and moon together are essential for the experience of space as we have currently, and thus it comes as no wonder that sun and moon are primarily, when you look at the esoteric astrology, considered the cause of Akasha or space for us, or at least in our solar system. Now, when it comes to energy, the word used for the primal energy is Mahaprana. And this Mahaprana essentially gets divided into 5 further fundamental forms. I'm just going to give the names of those, which are basically called Pran, Apan, Saman, Udan and Vyan. And in one way it is also described as movement. Whenever there is a movement or motion, there is some or the other level of Pran. And these 5 pranas are associated with the 5 grahas or planets, which are basically Venus with Pranavayu, Saturn with Apanvayu or Apan Prana, Mars with Saman, Mercury with Udana and Jupiter with Vyana. Now there is also a concept that Sun and Moon, apart from being the space, they essentially are the manifestation of the biggest or the Mahaprana, the most primal force as well. So basically Sun and Moon controls the very basis of not only our solar system, but from the esoteric point of view, this is how they are related. And when you talk about our pranic body, the Sun and Moon, they represent the energy channels or what is known as nadis. Nadis are essentially the space through which the energy or prana flows. So our nadis, which are, different people can say different numbers, but like 72,000 in total in our body, or 108 main, or Ida, Pingala, Sushumna, the most important ones. But Sun and Moon together, they represents or they cause the nadis, whereas the pancha pranas which flows in the body are these 5 planets. So now if you see this, if you just correlate this, that Sun and Moon, they in some ways are not associated with the movement, and they therefore in physical astrology also, these 2 planets or these 2 grahas are the ones which never go retrograde, whereas the actual movement which is represented by the prana, which are manifested by these 5 planets, the prana which flows, it goes either in the direct motion or in the retrograde motion, and therefore it sometimes can be stationary, sometimes it can flow very fast or slower, and so on. So this is one of the basic introduction of planets or grahas in Vedic astrology and how they relate with the pranic structure. Now in coming videos we will see how they relate with each of the chakras or the energy center, and how does signs or rashis and houses come into play in this story. So thank you friends as always for watching this video. Please do like and subscribe if you like our content. Thanks a lot.